Module 13. This pyramid looks quite complicated, and you can imagine that it can be made using some of the techniques you already know, the components and cloning. But I'm just going to show you a way to think about this, which may surprise you in terms of its sort of the functionality of SketchUp. And I don't know if it's really going to be that useful in the future. But just notice that one section of this pyramid is actually just a smaller version of the entire fundamental shape. So we could take that to our advantage. So let's actually just make a larger version of this. Imagine if it was just this pyramid at the full size, and each of them is going to be 5 foot by 5 foot base, and then it's going to be 5 feet high. Let's go ahead and make those pyramids. I'm going to start with a 5 foot by 5 foot square on the bottom, and then we're going to make an X across the corners, and then we're simply going to lift up the center 5 feet. Creates the pyramid. You'll notice it's got no bottom to it, but you can always go back and make a bottom if you'd like. Its faces are reversed, and so the quick way to reverse faces is to right-click and select reverse faces. Of course, that doesn't actually matter at all. And now we're going to make this a component. And then we're going to go ahead and clone this twice, direction, and then clone all 3 of them twice in the other direction. Now we've got a bottom. From here, you can actually grab 4 of them and clone them upwards. And then grab 1 more and clone it all the way to the top. Now you've created sort of a bigger version of the whole thing. Now we're going to grab the entire thing. Go ahead and for now, let's just make it a group. Then we're going to make an extra copy of that group, the entire thing. Then we're going to go inside of it. I'm going to select every single one of these pyramids. And we're going to make them unique, which means that they're no longer going to clone back to their master, which would be any of these in the original. So just to illustrate, since we've made these new ones unique, we can come back here and we can modify an individual pyramid, and it's going to affect all the ones right next to it, but none of the ones in our copy. Is entirely unique and independent. We're actually now going to scale this one using the scale tool, which can be a shortcut from S, and we're going to make this 1/3 of its size. Now, we can only type in sort of decimal points, so it's actually not going to give us exactly 1/3, but one way we can simulate 1/3 is if we temporarily move this over, sit right in line with one of our existing pyramids. Now we're just going to use it as a reference to scale our bigger pyramid down. And you can do this easily in 2 steps here. First, you can shrink down its width and length. I'm going to catch the corner here, which will get its total footprint to be the same size, 5 foot by 5 foot. That's the first scale. And notice that I was grabbing onto this midpoint of an edge to scale in that direction only. And now we can scale the top down to as high as we need. Now we've got our sort of mini cube and our mini pyramid, and it's exactly 1/3 of the size of the larger one. And now remember that each of these pyramids in the original pyramid, larger pyramid, was still cloned to each other. So what we can actually do is replace what's in this group or in this component with the smaller pyramid we've made, and it should actually automatically create a set of all the other ones. And this is, in fact, so elegant that if we just Control C or Command C the smaller pyramid, so it was on our clipboard, and we went into this larger pyramid and double-click all the way till we got to just one of these components, and actually just pasted at this point anywhere, it would instantly make the full pyramid we needed. In fact, you sort of, in a sense, created 2 super pyramids at this point. And then what you could do is actually just delete the original one if you wanted. Now, you're done, just like that. And so we've almost done something recursive in nature here. And of course, this could be applied to any type of structure. But that's just a neat thing to keep in mind, that even with a component tool, take advantage of scaling and of uh, just treating the original object you've made as an overall framework or a grid line, and then adding pieces of greater complexity and even replacing the original shape in the component.